My dad cheated with my aunt and it shocked my mom to the hospital. Years later, he demanded I raise their kids, but my revenge shattered their lives. I'm 28, and I never imagined my life would revolve around cleaning up the mess my parents made. Growing up, I thought our family was normal, even if a little strict. But that illusion shattered the day I walked into my mom's hospital room and saw her lying there, pale and broken, after finding out about my dad and aunt's affair. At first, I wanted to hate her, but she was too weak to even acknowledge me. Dad, on the other hand, acted like nothing had happened. He demanded that I care for his other children, insisting it was my duty to the family. I felt trapped, forced to choose between my own peace and the twisted sense of loyalty he expected. I started taking care of my younger siblings while juggling my own life, trying not to lose myself in the chaos. I visited Mom regularly, helping her with therapy and making sure she stayed on her medications. At first, she barely spoke, just nodded or shook her head. But after a few months, she started having good days, listening when I talked about work or cousins. Then Rachel dropped her first bomb, a Facebook post with a sonogram. She was pregnant, with twins. She wrote about God's blessings, tagged everyone, including Mom's friends from church. Later I learned from cousin Lisa that Rachel had gone off birth control months before the affair came to light, hoping a baby would make Dad leave Mom. And it worked. Dad went completely nuts over the pregnancy. He posted daily updates, called the twins their miracle babies, and even asked if I wanted to help set up the nursery. They bought a massive house in Newton with money from his business, far beyond what the construction business should have afforded. Mom's doctors had to adjust her medication when she found out. She stopped eating again. Only Tommy visiting her seemed to help, because he was hurting too. Meanwhile, Rachel and Dad wouldn't leave me alone. They showed up unannounced, Rachel with her hand on her belly, talking about how the twins would need their big brother. She had destroyed her sister's life and expected celebration. By 7 months along, she was calling me multiple times a day, asking me to watch the twins after they were born because they were too busy with the business. When I didn't answer, she sent guilt-tripping emails, claiming I was punishing innocent babies. When Emma and Ethan were born, Rachel escalated, sending daily pictures, videos of them crying, claiming they missed their big brother. They even came to my workplace, crying in the lobby about daycare costs, making my coworkers uncomfortable. Dad tried a different approach, offering me a 25% stake in the business if I helped with the twins. They even recruited others to pressure me, church ladies, neighbors, all trying to guilt me into submission. Rachel began comparing herself to Mom, claiming she was a better mother, emotionally available, and that the twins were lucky not to have Mom. By 6 months, they wanted me to take the twins every weekend, claiming it was practice for when I had my own kids, even saving a room for me in their house. Meanwhile, I focused on my mom, helping her heal, and started looking into Dad's business just to distract myself from their emotional blackmail. Digging through the records, I noticed patterns that didn't add up: excessive materials on invoices, fake subcontractors, underpaid workers, hidden offshore accounts. Emails showed Dad and Steve discussing cash payments, keeping paperwork clean, underreporting income by millions. Rachel had helped him move money, even before officially working there, setting up bank accounts, transferring funds. One morning, Rachel showed up at my apartment with the twins, demanding I watch them for 3 days because their nanny quit. I said no. She refused to leave. That was the breaking point. I called Dad on speaker. He ranted about betrayal and family loyalty. I walked to my desk, held up a hard drive with all evidence, and told them I knew everything: the business fraud, fake companies, money laundering, bribes. Rachel's face went white. Dad went quiet. Rachel tried to claim confusion over normal business practices. Dad defended bribing inspectors as competitive necessity. I laid out the evidence, and they panicked. I showed them the email I had drafted to the IRS Criminal Investigation Division, complete with attachments and a timeline. Rachel screamed about me destroying her children's future, grabbed the twins, and ran out. Dad tried reasoning, then threatening, offering money, then accusing me of being complicit. I waited until 9 a.m. when the IRS opened and sent the email. Then I called my Aunt Mary, told her everything. Family was shocked but unsurprised. They'd suspected Dad and Rachel's lifestyle wasn't legitimate. The IRS responded quickly. Within 2 weeks, investigators were interviewing everyone, raiding Dad's office. Computers, files, even Rachel's car were seized. They uncovered a side operation, buying properties through shell companies, renovating cheaply, selling at a profit off the books. Dad's foreman Tony cooperated, revealing cash payments, kickbacks, and fraudulent records. Dad tried to flee with Rachel and the twins but was caught at Logan Airport. Rachel screamed. Airport employees held the crying twins. Their social circle evaporated. Church supporters disappeared. The country club canceled their membership. Neighbors petitioned to force them to sell their house. Rachel's fraud involvement was exposed, writing checks to herself, paying for designer goods, hotels, and fertility treatments. Dad got a deal: 5 years for cooperation. Rachel wasn't included, trying to destroy evidence. Social services placed the twins with Rachel's ex and Jenny, a child psychologist who helped them adjust. Tommy bonded with his half-siblings. Rachel tried reporting Jenny and manipulating Tommy, leading him to start therapy, and a court order blocked her contact. Random people surfaced, claiming Dad or Rachel owed them money, revealing another scam targeting church members for investments. Mom's healing continued. She smiled for the first time in ages. She forgave Dad, not for him, but for herself, realizing carrying anger wasn't helping. The twins stayed with Rachel's ex and Jenny. Rachel faced 2 to 3 years of legal consequences, and Tommy remained supportive. Mom might come home soon, reclaiming her life. Does feeling relieved make me a terrible person? Part of me is sad, but another part feels like maybe now everyone can finally heal without him trying to control everything from prison. Dad taught me about consequences and owning up to mistakes, now he's learning that lesson one prison day at a time. I focus on Mom's recovery and letting the legal system do its job. Some bridges, once burned, should remain ashes. 3 days ago, they found Dad in his cell, officially self-inflicted. Rachel showed up at my apartment screaming, blaming me. I stood there, letting it sink in. Should I be sad, angry, relieved? He was still my dad, but the person who destroyed my mom's life, stole millions, and expected us to accept it. Mom's recovery continues, the heaviness remains, but she's learning to live with the past and build something new. I don't know what our family will look like moving forward, but the old version is gone. Maybe from these ashes, something stronger can be built, something that doesn't include people who could hurt their own family and still expect forgiveness.